Welcome to the Stoic Responder Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Healy. As a special agent who spent more than 15 years conducting large-scale fraud, money laundering, and public corruption investigations, Stoic philosophy provided a mindset edge that became the foundation of my professional success. My mission today is to share those same ancient mindset lessons with you so that you can turn obstacles into opportunities and adversity into advantage. Time to muster up. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Stoic Responder Podcast. This episode 43, title is Find Out Who Your Friends Are. Folks, before we get started with our quote and with our lesson for today, I want to remind you to go check out our favorite 501c3 that supports the law enforcement community, and that, of course, is the Overwatch Collective. The Overwatch Collective is a nonprofit and podcast funding therapy sessions and supporting mental health initiatives for our first responders, veterans, and their families. Their motto is one more is one less, and I take that to heart. One more individual that we can provide these services to is one less statistic. Go check out the overwatchcollective.com, make a donation, buy some gear, or purchase a ticket to their annual fundraiser, which is on August 24th, 2024 in San Mateo, California. Greg and his people over at the Overwatch Collective are doing incredible things for this community. Please, please, please support their efforts. Folks, as I said, today's episode is 43, and the title is Find Out Who Your Friends Are. And if you don't think you're getting a Tracy Lawrence reference here, you're sorely mistaken. We're going to dive right into it. Let me start you out with a quote from Cicero. With the exception of wisdom, I'm inclined to believe that the immortal gods have given nothing better to humanity than friendship. Now, we've talked a little bit about Cicero on this podcast. I'm not going to dive too deep into Cicero. He was a late Roman Republic era politician and philosopher, sort of a Stoic, although he dabbled across the different schools of philosophy that were available at the time. And kind of a mixed bag with Cicero, kind of a mixed history there. Definitely not a Stoic, but he was a prolific writer and wrote oftentimes from the perspective of Stoicism, even though he wasn't necessarily a strong adherent to Stoicism. Things didn't end up working out that well for Cicero as they tended not to during those tumultuous times of Caesar taking over and the dictatorship and the end of the Republic. But still, his writings are indispensable for understanding that era and understanding the development of the philosophy of Stoicism. And he had a lot of things to say about relationships and friendship. And this quote, with the exception of wisdom, I'm inclined to believe that the immortal gods have given nothing better to humanity than friendship, is one of those great quotes that really reminds us the importance of surrounding ourselves with individuals who are going to have our back. Now, to get to that Tracy Lawrence reference that I promised, in 2006, of course, country music star Tracy Lawrence releases the single Find Out Who Your Friends Are. We've all heard it. I'm not going to sing it, but I'm sure you are thinking about it in your head right now. Of course, the lyrics featured a couple of lines, one of which says, everybody wants to slap your back, wants to shake your hand when you're up on top of that mountain. But let one of those rocks give way, then you slide back down, look up and see who's around then. See, Lawrence's lyrics resonated, because we've all been there. And the song eventually became a #1 hit. And again, you can probably identify with the song's take on friendship because some people are there when you need them, no matter what, no questions asked. And those are the real ones. The difficulty and the challenge is finding out who those people are. Now, a few thousand years before Tracy Lawrence topped the charts, right, we've got Cicero. He's writing his own treatises on a wide range of subjects, including and often on loyalty, fidelity, and friendship. And again, given those tumultuous politics that we just talked about, given those shifting alliances in the late Republic era in which he lived, it's not a surprise that Cicero had such a high regard for individuals that stuck by him through thick and thin, because this was a very tumultuous time politically. If you think things are crazy in the summer of 2024, you should have been around during the late Republic era in the Roman Republic, as everything that was happening with, Julius Caesar and Cicero and Cato and everybody else that was vying for power in this incredibly tumultuous time. Cicero was right there in the midst of that. That's when he's writing about friendship. According to Cicero, authentic friendship is rooted in shared moral values and virtue. And genuine friends are willingly and selflessly going to offer aid and support to one another while challenging one another to strive for greater ethical excellence. Now, if you can look around at your group of friends and you can see that, then you are a very, very rich man or woman. You should have friends around you that are authentic, that are rooted in shared moral values and virtue, that share your opinions, that share your beliefs, that share your drive, that share your willingness to push, and that push you and support you along the way. The kind of people who selflessly offer aid. Again, the kind of people that are not just there to slap you on the back when you're up on top of the mountain, as Tracy Lawrence says, but the types that are there when you slide back down as well. That is who you should surround yourself with, because life is very, very short. It's very, very short. So when we place friendship among the highest of blessings given by God, or in Cicero's case, the gods, we emphasize this fundamental role in human flourishing and the pursuit of a well-lived life, right? Our friends can affect us, as we've said, or they can infect us. They can help bring us up, or they can pull us down. It's that whole idea of the bucket full of crabs, right? You try to climb up over the top. You ever see a bucket full of crabs, they don't put a lid on it for a reason, because the crabs will pull each other back down. They won't let anyone escape. They won't let anyone get out of the bucket. God forbid somebody escape to a better life. No, we're going to keep you down here with us. If that's what your friends are doing, you got the wrong group of friends. You see, Cicero recognized the profound impact that genuine friendship can have on an individual's happiness, personal growth, and moral development. Tracy Lawrence, several thousand years later, recognized that same thing, right? Because he said, nobody wants to get stuck in a ditch way out in the middle of nowhere. But here's the deal, folks. When that does happen, it can be a blessing as well. Because when that does happen, that is when you find out who your friends are. So here's our journal prompt today. I want you to ask yourself, and be genuine about this. Who would you do everything for? Who would you drop everything for? Who among your friends would you do anything and everything for at a moment's notice? And who among your friends would drop everything for you? That is who you need to surround yourself with. And everyone else who's playing a role in your life, but isn't helping you strive for greater ethical excellence, who isn't helping you strive and improve upon your moral values and virtue, are they really, truly a genuine friend that you should have in your life? And I mean this deeply and sincerely. There are people especially in our careers, especially in a law enforcement career, who are not good for us. And it can be difficult to cut ties with those people. It can be difficult to make those feelings known. It can be difficult to have firm boundaries behind this blue wall, inside this peculiar fraternity that we occupy. But we have to do that. We have to make critical decisions about who truly, truly has our back. And we need to double down on those friendships, those individuals who are there for you no matter what, no questions asked, who affect you instead of infect you. Better to find out now than again when you're stuck in a ditch way out in the middle of nowhere, as Tracy Lawrence says. So now that I've left you with that earworm, I'm going to leave you for the day. A couple of things that you can do to support this podcast if you would like to. Number one, pick up a copy of my book, In Valor, 365 Stoic Meditations for First Responders. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, anywhere you get your books. It is available on Kindle and Nook for instant download right now if you like to read that way. Or if you prefer the paper book edition, that's available as well. You can get that on Amazon Prime. You can have it in a couple of days. It is a great resource for law enforcement, first responders, and really anyone who wants to practice Stoic philosophy daily, who wants to gain greater resilience. It's going to give you quotes, contextualization that is directly relatable to your job, and daily journal prompts like the one I just gave you. There are going to be action items to help you integrate these lessons. Number two, you can subscribe to my free Substack, The Stoic Responder, for free. Did I say free? It's free. On that page, you can get the podcast delivered to your email 4 times a week, and you can also get my weekly newsletters with Stoic leadership and personal development tips. Those typically come out on Monday. Sometimes I send out more than one. And if you are not subscribed to the Stoic Responder Substack, you're missing out on the weekly newsletters. You might just get some information in there that's going to help you gain resilience and live a life of greater virtue. And finally, you can like, share, and subscribe to this podcast so that others can learn about what we're doing here and can take advantage of these lessons as well. Thanks so much for listening, folks. Got 2 more episodes for you. Until tomorrow, You are out of roll. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, like, rate, and share this podcast so that we can spread the benefits of Stoicism to other first responders. It will only take you a few moments, but it can help us tremendously. Until next time, out of roll.